Produce is one of those food items that you constantly have to replenish because it doesn't last long. That problem is multiplied for food banks and grocery stores. Once produce goes bad, it mostly goes to the landfill. But one company is turning rotting fruit and vegetables into high-grade soil. I'll talk to one of the founders of EcoScraps, but first, here's a look at the company's Tempe facility.
Every day, Americans throw out tons of food, including fruits and vegetables. That produce usually ends up in a landfill, where it rots and produces methane, a greenhouse gas. Three friends from Utah had an epiphany one day while eating breakfast, leading them to a solution to that problem. While eating at the buffet, they noticed food going to waste and thought there must be a better way.
You can see that steam in there.
So they started researching composting and were soon doing it in a parking lot of an abandoned motel, starting a company called EcoScraps. They started selling their product, organic soil, to nurseries, and it became so successful that they opened up this facility near McClintock and Curry in Tempe. At their Tempe location, they get 10 tons of rotting produce a day and have processed 400,000 pounds of it. All that rotting produce is turned into high-grade organic soil. Most of the discarded produce comes from food banks, grocery stores, and distributors. Taking it to EcoScraps saves those organizations money because they don't have to haul it to a landfill. EcoScraps soil can be purchased at Valley Nurseries, sold under the name Harvest Plenty.
And here now to talk more about EcoScraps is Brandon Sargent, one of the founders of the company. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
How does this work? I mean, we kind of got an indication there, but folks, do you collect the food? Do they bring it to you?
We have different arrangements with different people, but basically whether we go out and get it or they bring it to us, we get the food at our yard, then we run it through some special machinery which basically pulverizes it, then we mix it with a carbon supplement in order to really kind of start that composting process. We're cranking out between 30 and 40 cubic yards a day of compost that we make every single day. The product itself heats up over 100 degrees within 24 hours. And then we start aerating. We have some special aeration machinery that we use as well, and it takes between 2 and 3 months to fully mature.
So basically you've got the rotting stuff. You mix it with what, the special formula there?
Carbon supplement. We use like untreated wood shavings. You just have to make sure that your nitrogen and your carbon is balanced in order for it to really work. And so yeah, we mix it. We have a special formula that we have. We mix it together, and it just starts going to work. The microorganisms start eating everything, and it's pretty cool.
It's fascinating. How do you make sure it's properly balanced? Because anything could get in there and screw the whole thing up, I would think.
Well, so there's different types or different things that you have to have balanced. You have to balance the micro and macronutrients. In order to do that, we do add a mineral mix in order to make sure that that's all properly balanced for your end result in plants. You have to balance the pH. A lot of times down here we get a lot of citrus, and so we have to add things that are alkaline in order to properly balance that out for your plants, because your plants don't want something that's really acidic either. And just different things like that. We also have to make sure that the moisture is balanced as well. That's one of the reasons why we do it indoors. We can control if it's raining or if it's really hot outside. We can control the moisture of our piles.
I was going to say, it sounds unusual to have something like this indoors, is it?
Yeah, it is unusual, but because of that, we're able to turn out a higher quality product, and we're able to test it and keep all those things balanced from start to finish.
Is it the kind of thing where it has to be tested periodically over time? How long does this process take, by the way?
It takes between 2 and 3 months.
Okay.
Different things, take longer to compost than others. But we get it tested at the end for maturity, for pH, for nutrients, and then package it and send it out.
Okay, where do you send it out to?
To local nurseries. You can buy it at almost any of the local independent nurseries here around town. We also have done quite a few things with community gardens and things like that. where our end product would be used.
And we kind of got an indication of where this idea got started in the intro piece here. Give us some more info, if you will. It sounds like, what, a bunch of guys sitting around at the buffet and saying, hey, that stuff's going to waste.
Well, so in truth, Dan, one of my partners, he kind of thought of the idea. It's kind of his thing, and I got brought on shortly after that, along with Craig, who's the third partner. And we did a lot of business plan competitions. I remember, back in the early days, I would take my pickup in between classes. I was a student up at BYU, and in between classes, I'd go to grocery stores and pick up produce, and then we'd go compost it at night.
Really?
Yeah.
So this was what you did for fun, huh?
So, well, for fun, I saw a lot of opportunity as far as a business goes. I've always been very fascinated with business and with things being able to scale, and it's the sweetest business because, one, we're taking waste, trash, and we're making something that's not only good, but one of the best products out in the market. It's far better than any of the petrochemical-based competitors. The other thing is, it is sustainable. We're being able to make money off this business and do something that's great, help our people, help the community. It's just a really great overall business.
I was going to ask you, was this the kind of thing you always dreamed of doing, producing compost?
No, I didn't even really know anything about compost or horticulture. I knew what a pH was just from science class, but that's about it. And so I've really had to learn a lot to make this work, because I'm out talking every day with nursery owners, people who have been in the industry 40 years, and I'm having to talk to them on an equal basis, and so I've had to step my learning up in this field. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy it.
The idea that I know some communities are experimenting with yard wastes, palm fronds and whatever. This is not the same thing. You need fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables.
In order to keep our end product consistent from bag to bag, we got to keep our recipe consistent. That doesn't mean that composting yard trimmings is bad. That's actually very good, and we actually teach free composting classes at some of the nurseries where we stress, hey, compost your yard trimmings, compost your leaves, your kitchen scraps, and everything like that. And we teach people how to balance that so that they can also be sustainable.
Now, are you working with any cities to get, if they, I don't know, just get residents who've got a lot of fruit trees in their yards?
We're working towards something with the city of Tempe to get some bins placed out in the community. Right now, we don't have anything like that, but I think it would be a really great thing to put together.
All right. Well, Brandon, good luck. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.